Hello and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is the Football Fan Channel where you can have all you want to say on the biggest football topics. Starting off then, we're going to start off with, well, where else to start off after the transfer news of yesterday? PSG, do want to talk about them and how they're destroying football effectively. Some people don't seem to be understanding why they are destroying football and think it's great. And maybe that's indicative of what football has become, that a club like PSG can basically chuck a lot of money at things and sort of buy fans, because Neymar sold a lot of shirts, but I guarantee you a year ago not many people were supporting PSG. Are football fans fickle? You're a football fan, give us your comments in the live comments. But let's start off with Arsenal. Arsenal Football Club, it's game over, rest in peace. We've heard the headlines, we've seen the fan channel. But taking a step back, I mean, if you are an Arsenal fan, by all means give us your thoughts. This is what the forum's all about. But well, looking at it as a non-Arsenal fan, I have to say that there is some empathy towards them, because it's indicative, again, I've used that word twice now, but it is of what the modern football arena is all about, really. I mean, let's just look at what Arsenal did yesterday. They've retained Alexis Sanchez. Now, are Arsenal fans happy that they've retained Alexis Sanchez? Because what I see from an outsider is two things really stand out to me. One, that it was around April time where we heard that Arsenal had a £200 million war chest. They weren't selling anybody. They were going to build on what they've got. Where is that £200 million war chest? Who have Arsenal actually signed this summer of note? I know they bought that the centre-back, isn't it, that he scored a goal. Again, I don't really know what his name is. Begins with a K. Let me know. But who else have you actually signed that's going to make other people be worried about Arsenal? So forgetting the Alexis Sanchez thing, you've been mugged off by your owners yet again. You should have sacked Arsene Wenger. What I would say is, again, as a non-Arsenal fan, I was ecstatic that Arsene Wenger stayed at Manchester United. Now, stayed at Arsenal. The reason I say Manchester United is obviously I support Manchester United, but also because it's very similar to the Fellaini situation we've had over the last 3 years. Not necessarily now, because he's doing okay, but I don't expect that to happen with Wenger. But in relation to Fellaini, when we play teams, top teams, they'd be ecstatic because Fellaini's staying at United or even playing. That's always a big concern. When your rivals are laughing at decisions you're making, that's a big sign that you probably should get rid of them. Arsene Wenger should have been sacked last April, last May. They kept him on. And again, we can all see from outside, you're not going to win the title. You might win the Europa League, to be fair, but you're not going to win the title with that man in charge. He lacks a spine in his teams, and it's been like that for what, 12 years since the Invincibles, and it's only going to get worse. So you've not bought anyone this summer. And then I've got to say, I'm very happy that Alexis Sanchez hasn't gone to Manchester City, because I think it would more or less hand them the title, even though I think Pep Guardiola is a bit of a fraud. But I think it would have handed them the title. So I'm happy Sanchez has stayed. But by him staying, Arsene Wenger is basically just, if he had a suitcase full of £60 million, he's just burnt it in front, he may as well invite everyone to the next Arsenal home game and burn £60 million, which effectively will be a lot of money that's gone into the club from the fans. Because Alexis Sanchez will go for free now. He will go for free. His contract is up in the summer. He's gone. So thanks for the contribution, Matthew. I like how the green works with it. The United stand still exists. Why do people don't think that exists? This is a new channel. It's not just going to be me on this channel. That's football. It will encompass all of the big football news. If you want Manchester United, that's the United stand. It's not going anywhere. We will talk about Manchester United on here, but we are going to talk about more broader football topics and try and cover as much about it as possible. Effectively, why am I involved? Well, I was asked to get involved. I was asked to rebrand my channel effectively to do it, because I believe in the idea. There's a lot of things away from Manchester United that I think are very important to football fans, and I don't just talk about Manchester United. So that is what it's about. And live tonight at 8:30, we're going to do a show on the transfer window. Who won the transfer window? So Manchester United will obviously be involved in that, but we'll be talking about Spurs and everybody else, Chelsea, etc. So you've thrown my thought there. But thank you, Matthew McFadden. What did he say? He basically said that. So thanks for the comment. So, what were we saying? So in relation to Arsenal, I think they are an example of what modern football has become. Passionate fans, some would say making themselves look idiots outside the ground. Some would say they're passionate, frustrated fans who pay a lot of money to support the club they love. And it is yet another example of rich owners taking money out of the club and giving nothing back. I mean, they've spent nothing this summer. And the bad thing is they've just lost 60 million with Alexis Sanchez yesterday. I don't see recovery for Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal fan, how do you feel about it? If you're a non-Arsenal fan, do you ever think that Arsenal are going to be challenging for the top? Because all I see is regression every season. We're going to talk about how everyone did in the transfer window yesterday. But I think you could firmly say out of Spurs, Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool, Arsenal are in the relegation zone. In fact, they've been relegated. You may as well put Everton in there because Arsenal had a horrific transfer window. They've lost Oxlade-Chamberlain. They've not replaced him. The Lamar bid was just embarrassing. A year ago, Wenger's saying 90 million for Pogba is obscene. It's ridiculous. Yesterday, he's chucking 92 million at Lamar, who snubs him. So the issue with Arsenal is Arsenal are a former big club over a decade ago. They're in terminal decline. And I think what happens at Arsenal is sort of what happens at a lot of clubs, but definitely in Arsenal. Their owner says to Arsene Wenger, this is a business. You've just got to finish in the top 4 and we make money. And I think that's what it's become. And the fans have become a bit of a treadmill. A bit like mice on a treadmill, running round and round and round, sending the money, powering the club of Arsenal and its shareholders, but not getting anything in return. So when people talk about fan protests and everything like that, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? Let us know. Give us your comments. So let's have a look what people are saying in the live comments about this. Michael Carrick 16, everyone's complaining about the colour. It's green for neutral. Speak to the Droity Devil. I personally like it. We were thinking about blue, but then you think about Chelsea. I like it, and I think you'll grow to like it. It is neutral. Okay, let's have a look. Are you back from your holidays, Mark? No, I'm still at Centre Parks, and I've got a green screen now. I'm back now. Good break. Beer Eat says, I've been waiting for this for ages. I'm sick of talking United. You know what? It's taken a lot of convincing, but I am going to give it everything that I've got. And it won't just be me on this channel. Xander's going to be on it tomorrow. We're going to do watch-alongs. We've got all sorts of things planned. There will be a touch on United, but that's the United stand. We really want to talk about the bigger things because if you're like me and everybody else, there is a bigger world than Manchester United. Not really in my heart. That's where that's where it ends. But there are bigger debates to be had. There are bigger discussions to be had. So I've taken a bit of persuading, but I'm happy to do it, and let's see how it goes. Haven't seen Louise in like ages. Mark, would you rather go back to when there was hardly any money in football, or do you prefer the current state of affairs? That's from Sander, and it leads lovely into the next topic I was going to talk about. So Gary Lineker put up a tweet today saying that basically mocking PSG and what they've done. So PSG have effectively spent 366 million on Mbappe and Neymar. However, they've not spent a pound because Neymar has effectively bought himself out, as is rumoured to be money from Qatar as part of the promotion for the Qatar World Cup. Obviously, PSG are owned over there. And then Mbappe is a loan deal till next year so they can avoid financial fair play. The bottom line is that I think that this transfer window that is now shut, and I'm glad it's shut, has been destroyed by PSG. So to an element, PSG are destroying football because the reality is Mbappe's going on about dream move to Paris Saint-Germain. It's a dream move if you grew up in Paris. Mate, it's a pub league. It is a pub league. You've just won it with Monaco. Going to PSG because it's where you grew up is like me supporting Manchester United but then leaving Manchester United to sign for Nottingham Forest because that's where I grew up. It's a backward step. It's not relevant. It's a silly comment, and yet loads of people will be buying PSG shirts. I mean, that's modern football for you, Xander, and everybody else. That is modern football for you. It's how flippant I think within the UK and within Europe, a lot of fans do have a backbone. Sorry, Arsenal fans, and they are loyal to the clubs that they support. But I think as the global football, which is the big market to get into, as that expands, are those fans in Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Australasia, are they, or new markets for football that maybe haven't got that history with football and teams, are they flippant? Are they 1 year buying Leicester shirts? Are they next year being PSG shirts? Or even United shirts? Or City or Arsenal shirts? Is that what happens? Are these football... And I'm not having a go at them. They're just different to us in the way we've been brought up. You know, you have a loyalty to a club. I mean, I'm sure Arsenal fans probably think, you know, it'd be nice if that was the way the world was. 1 year you support another club, then there's the next. Obviously, I hate that concept, but I think that is quite rife in the new markets of football. But what PSG have done is destroyed this transfer window, or the last transfer window that's shut, because Mbappe to Real Madrid was the obvious move that was going to happen. Then maybe Bale would have left, maybe to Manchester United, maybe to Chelsea. Let's not forget that, you know, the Neymar in his prime years, Messi's coming towards the end, and Neymar in his prime years leaves Barcelona, probably arguably the biggest club in the world, to go to PSG, to play in a pub league week in, week out, and have a handful of Champions League games. I hope, more than anything in the world, in a football sense, that PSG do not win the Champions League, because that's not... You know, it's not good what they've done, and there is just no way that PSG have made the money, the revenue. You know, Manchester United are the richest club in the world in relation to revenue, and we barely make over £100 million a year. So how can one club effectively spend that amount of money? And it's not the first time. They've been doing it for a long time, PSG. So it is sad. I've heard some people saying, oh no, it's about time Barcelona and Real Madrid had their nose put out of joint, and you know, Neymar from Barcelona and Mbappe would have been going to Real Madrid. And to that extent, yeah, a new boy on the market is, or a new boy in town, or a new girl in town, football is equal, obviously, is good, but also it's not a new boy, a new kid on the block, is it? Stop saying boy or girl. New kid on the block. A new kid on the block would be somebody like, you know, United, you know, revived from the Sir Alex Ferguson resignation and the bad years, you know, self-generated income, or even an Arsenal. I mean, you know, Arsenal fans probably feel a million miles away from competing with Arsenal and with Real Madrid and Barcelona. But Arsenal did move to a ground that they built. They do have massive match revenues. They are based in London. They could be a superpower of football. Unfortunately, they're being dragged back by Wenger. But if they came on the scene and they were signing Mbappe, then I wouldn't like it as a United fan, but at least it's a club that's self-generated. Or even a Liverpool, if they, I mean, we're talking fantasy football now, but PSG, pub league, no one wants to watch the French league, and they're basically just getting money pumped in from Qatar. And, you know, 500 million, 300 million, 200 million for Neymar is immoral, whatever like that. It messes up the transfer market badly. But it's peanuts, absolute peanuts to the owners of these clubs out in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and wherever this money is coming in from. It's peanuts, and they just come in and they treat football like a game, like, oh yeah, we'll just chuck money there. The reality is, if the footballing governing bodies allow it to continue, it will destroy football, because you've got PSG finding ways to just pump oil money into football and ridiculous amounts of money. Then you've got clubs like your Evertons, your Stokes, your West Broms, you know, clubs like that who are rich in footballing terms, but they'll never be able to compete with that sort of thing, because they are clubs that effectively are run properly. So I don't like it. I don't like what PSG have done at all, and I don't think it's good. But that's for you to discuss. Rooney will most likely miss the Manchester United versus Everton game at Old Trafford because he's in court the next day, says Zed Jamie. Yeah, Rooney with the drink driving charge, as I last saw it. We spoke about it a bit last year on the United stand. There was rumours around Rooney's drink problem, and I think quite rightly it was tried to be kept in check. I think it's sad. I think he'd be under a lot of stick if he was still at United for it. But I thought fresh challenge, doing really well at Everton. It is an international break, and I'm sure people will say that. You know, he's on an international break, he's entitled to a drink. I don't really think you should be drinking when the season's on if you're a professional sportsman to that excess. But it is illegal to drink and drive, so he's not got a leg to stand on if he's done it. And it's a shame. It is a shame. Jay Daly says, great show, fresh, unbiased, real fan opinion, no holds barred. Yep, that's what we're looking for, Jay, so please do get involved. Mark, if this is what's come Mark, if this is what's to come on your channel, I'm a fan, says Jamie. It is. Mark, you don't understand the problem with Arsenal. Getting rid of Wenger won't make us better. We need to get rid of Kroenke. That is the problem 100%. Well, thanks for that, Billy Joe Hammond. If you are an Arsenal fan, we do want fans of other clubs getting involved with this channel. You know, you're very, very welcome, and that is an interesting point. From Billy Joe Hammond, that's, you know, getting Wenger, and I did hear this from another Arsenal fan. I was reading a comment yesterday that, you know, getting rid of Wenger isn't going to necessarily solve the problem, and Wenger in many ways has kept the ship afloat by getting them top four, but even he is powerless to do that now. I would agree with what Billy says there. Even if Arsenal did replace Wenger with, say, someone like Diego Simeone, if he can't sign players, I mean, that's pitiful what they've done this summer. £200 million war chest, and who have you bought? I don't know. Unless you've gone and bought a load of... I nearly swore, you know, but the lad you did buy, I don't know what his name is. It is poor, and I can understand why Lamar snubbed you, to be honest. You know, let's say Lamar did snub them because they're in the Europa League. Well, we got Pogba. We've bought lots of players when they're in the Europa League because they can see the vision of Manchester United. And I'm not, you know, Stan Kroenke or the Glazers, who's better, who's worse. I don't think the Glazers are great owners of Manchester United either, but at least we have succeeded with those. Zushas says there's mercenary owners at all clubs. Unfortunately, the Premier League has not done a very good job in relation to ownerships of most clubs over the last decade. I look at, you know, you've got Blackburn Rovers with the chicken farmers. There's loads of bad owners out there. Man City with the Thai ex-president before they got the oil money. There is massive issues. Nottingham Forest had Fawaz, and they had somebody else before that. Leeds with the Italian owner. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. Cardiff, I don't know whether they're still owned with the same people. You can just go on and on and on, and it's the fans I feel sorry for, which is part of the reason why, coming back to what we're doing here, that's Football Fan TV, is just going to be a generic football fan channel from now on. We're going to get some specialists on. We're going to cover things like Serie A, Bundesliga, La Liga, lots of shows, lots of live comments, lots of live shows. We're live again at 8:30 tonight with a transfer review. Who won the transfer window in England? Some might say United. I personally am not going to say United, so tune in at 8:30 for that. If you do follow the United Stand, I'll be live on there at 8 o'clock, and then we'll be live on here afterwards. So get involved with the channel. We've got 10,621 subscribers. Get subscribing, get involved. If you like fan content, you like football debates, we are going to pick the best debates. We're not going to just start talking about Klopp brushing his teeth. We will talk about big debates, and it's not going to be, you know, 100 shows a day or anything like that. They will be daily content on here, and it will be topical, and it will be big topics to talk about. So if you love football, you're going to love That's Football. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Back on the United Stand at 8 o'clock, and then back on here for the Who Won the Transfer Window debate at 8:30. Thanks for watching. Drop a like. Make sure you get sharing, and make sure you get subscribing, because this is the start of something new, and we want you with us from the start all the way through. Thanks for watching.